Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at the top business stories. New book sales to hit four-year high this year. Central bank advisor warns of global currency war impact on the UAE trade. And RAK Properties to receive 1.7 billion dirhams this year. The GCC markets closed mixed today and the UAE bourses ended lower. The DFM fell nearly 0.4% to close at 1,627 points. The property sector saw a loss today, with Arab Tech falling again 1.5% and Emaar Properties down 0.25%. Dubai Islamic Bank lost 1% and Emirates MBD gained over 1.25%. DU fell 0.75% and DP World was up 1.25%. 74 million shares were traded, valued at 129 million dirhams. Meanwhile, in the capital, the ADX fell 0.01% to close at 2,739 points. The banking sector posted losses today as Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank fell nearly 0.5%, and Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank was down over 1.5%. Alda Properties dropped over 1.25%, and in the energy sector, Dana Gas fell over 2.5%, while TAQA climbed over 1.5%. 42 million shares were traded, valued at 75 million dirhams. Borrowers from the Gulf may sell up to $8.2 billion of Islamic bonds this year and would result in the highest figures in 4 years. Finance experts say those that want to issue bonds should do so now to lock in the low currently rates before U.S. economic recovery takes hold, and that near-zero interest rates are attracting investors to higher-yielding markets. As a low-rate environment, there is still a wealth of opportunity. The IMF has forecast a 5.9% economic growth for the GCC, which will also accelerate the sales of bonds in the region. The Dubai government and Emirates Telecommunications Corporation have both said they will sell bonds this year. An advisor to the central bank has warned of the impact of global currency wars that could affect UAE trade. Experts suggest trade barriers against the country's airline and oil industry are the main commodities under threat, as Western competitors have already expressed their concern about the UAE's airline expansion. Central bank advisor David Dodge has said rules surrounding exchange rate adjustments, they need to be made, and that the IMF should take responsibility for this. A debate between the US and China over valuations of their currencies has been the centerpiece of currency disagreements, where the US has said China has prevented the yuan from rising and gathering currency reserves, and China has said quantitative easing by the US central bank weakens the dollar. RAK Properties is hoping to receive 1.7 billion dirhams this year as the final payments of completed properties are signed. A total of 3,073 apartments, offices and villas will be delivered this year, where the majority of buyers have paid 45% of their property values. The builder's CEO, Mohammed Sultan Al-Qadi, has said he expects balances to be completed this year, and that a worst-case scenario would be to have only 60% of buyers make their final payments. RAK Properties has so far received 900 million dirhams for projects and is still owned nearly 3 billion from purchasers. The company's CEO has also stated that the priority of RAK Properties now lies within a hotel project in Mina Al Arab, which was delayed in 2009. UAE banks are sitting on large amounts of liquidity deposits, according to analysts. Many still remain cautious, however, to release cash to borrowers, but treasurers say there will be a move towards credit growth this year, as banks now have sufficient cash to lend to corporates. Lending amounts will be tightened, though, due to demand, supply and price, as interest rates are still a cause for concern, as well as smaller investments made by the private sector. Experts have said many banks are adopting a wait-and-see strategy whilst following the property market and economic trends before large amounts are released. And in our fast financial news, the Abu Dhabi Council for Economic Development has expressed its concerns surrounding bankruptcy laws to attract foreign investors and to preserve jobs. Leaders say a rigorous framework for insolvency is crucial. And Middle Eastern merger and acquisition activity hit a record high last year as over 500 deals were cemented, doubling its movement from 2009. The Thomson Reuters review for Middle East Investment Banking 2010 reveals telecommunications was the most targeted industry. Now it's time to take a look at the GCC markets, which ended mostly higher today. Coming up now, let's take a look at currencies against the dirham, followed by the price of oil and precious metals. Well, that's it from the business desk. As always, you can contact us at news@city7tv.com. Up next, Laura Buckwell is back with the news.